Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Today, we have Ben, Ricky, and Scott joining me again, and we wrap up our Disney treasure talk as Ben and I are just back yesterday from our preview cruise on the beautiful new ship in the Disney Cruise Line fleet, the Disney Treasure. We have Ricky and Scott and some of our listeners in the live chat asking us questions about this ship. So we dive into the lounges again, the dining, the public areas, the Cove Cafe, little snacks, and more on today's show. So if you're curious at all about the Disney Treasure and some of the programming, the layout of the ship, and more, stay tuned because we dive into some of the more minor details of this wonderful new Disney Cruise Line ship. Don't forget, today's show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys are our all-stars. I cannot thank you enough for your support. You can also support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2610 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you and get ready. It's last weekend before Christmas. It's time to get those wrapping skills honed and ready to go. And I'm not talking about being, Run DMC. You better get out the Scotch tape and the scissors. Don't run with them. And have a good time this weekend. It's the time to, if you haven't watched The Grinch, It's a Wonderful Life, Charlie Brown Christmas, you guys would be proud of me. I watched Disney Christmas Carol.
Oh, that's Mickey's Christmas Carol?
Yes, I did. You know why? Because it was on the bus on my transfer from the cruise back to the airport.
That's
I was held prisoner, so I had to watch it. Yeah, I couldn't help it. It was on all the screens.
Oh,
it was pretty good, actually. Actually, you know what, though? It's kind of like, I know it's older, but like, there's like scary parts in it. Like he got thrown in, like he got buried alive. Like there's like, I'm pretty sure the devil came out.
As a child, let me tell you, Mickey's Christmas Carol scared the bejeebus out of me. Like I legit, like it was terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. But like I love watching it now. But yeah, no, that
I was like, am I a Mr. Toad? That's exactly what I thought. I was like, this is like a Mr. Toad, like come to life situation.
No. It is terrifying, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, I was like, he's getting buried alive, I think. I'm not sure because I was kind of nodding off. I was like exhausted. I'm like, oh man, I'm sad because I'm off the cruise and like I'm tired and I'm like kind of nodding off on the bus and
it's terrifying.
Taking me to the airport and I got to sit at the airport for like 10 hours to my flight and just bummed. And then I'm watching this movie. Then like, dude, I'm pretty sure Scrooge just got thrown in a pit and like he's getting buried alive. I was like, this isn't good. Anyway, what's good is going to be this show because we're going to be taking questions, talking, just kind of wrapping up our talk about the treasure. So joining us, Scotty G, Must See Adventures up in Michigan. Scott, happy Friday. What's up?
Happy Friday, Mike. You know what else is good? And I thought this is the route you were going to go because on TV, I gave you like these excitement thumbs up. Happy first round ever of a 12-team college football playoff today. I am not leaving the couch. That's basically right. For the next 2 days.
Yep. Tonight it's all Indiana and then 3 games tomorrow. I mean,
we're going to have home game college football. This is insane to me that this is actually happening. I'm excited to see how it plays out. And there's a lot of conversation. I know this is a sports podcast, but a lot of conversation about how this bracket works. And I'm just very intrigued to see how this plays out. I think it's going to change for the future personally, but it's going to be cool to see like history being made tonight. A team hosting a college football game on their playoff game on their campus. It's wild to me.
Yeah. Just a little behind the scenes. When Pam asked me about going on this cruise, I did immediately say, what weekend is it? Because if it was going to be this weekend, it was going to be a hard no. I mean, as much as I love Disney Cruise Line, it was It was not going to happen for the first.
Well, Ben is very thankful that it wasn't.
I had to miss one last year because it was homecoming for Mallory's cheer, and it killed me. That whole game, I was like, God, if this is a 48-0 game, I'm gonna be kicking myself. But it was a good game. I mean, not as good as a Disney cruise, but you're a dad. All right, I'm not even thinking back on it. Okay, Ricky's here. DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, TheMouseForLess.com. Ricky, happy Friday. What's up? You gotta make tough choices as a parent. What's up?
Happy Friday. Yeah, getting ready for Christmas down in Florida. So excited to spend time with the family and gonna have a really, really, really good time. Excited because I think I've talked about it, but I have Lucy's first haircut scheduled for Monday at the Harmony Barbershop, and I'm so excited. Like I'm ready. Let's do this. Her teachers have had to pull her hair into a ponytail the past few days because her bangs are so long that they're like covering her eyes. And I'm like, I'm sorry, baby, you just gotta wait a few more days until I can get you a haircut. So
that's great, Ricky. That's super awesome. I'm
excited. I know. I scheduled it out like literally at the 60-day mark. I kind of was thinking about it, and I'm like, oh, I really, we're almost at the 60-day mark of Christmas, and I really should check to see if there's any availability around then, when it'll be. And I looked at the 60-day, and I'm like, oh man, that's when we're gonna be there. I probably should book this. And so there was like 2 slots left when I did it. So I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna, of course, film the whole thing. I don't think I'll cry, which is good, but I'm totally gonna film the whole thing. So I'm so excited.
You won't cry. She will.
No, I mean, probably. Yeah, actually, she probably will.
Kids have to.
Me and Mike need to go back in there and get some cuts.
We do. I mean, we had some good times in there. We had some great.
I did see Ben with some pixie dust in his beard. Actually, that's
yes, absolutely.
Well, speaking of,
100%.
we're gonna talk about something real quick. So Ben Lappin again joining us from Wednesday's show. Sailed with me on the Disney Treasure this past weekend. Ben, happy Friday! And big plans for the weekend besides college football.
Happy Friday. And we've just got, of course, at this time of the year, just more Christmas parties. So we've got my wife's family, they're coming over. So we are hosting this year. They always alternate it between all the cousins now, now that everybody's grown up, gotten older and everything. So yeah, just last minute, I've got a huge long list of honey-do list to get ready for tomorrow then.
Yeah.
But wait a second, your wife's Clemson. I mean, does she want to talk any smack to fellow agent Jimmy real quick?
Well, I mean, she doesn't really have anything to say right now because Carolina beat Clemson this year, so we're good on that.
Okay, that's
she's still groveling on that.
We don't mind trash talking on the Be Our Guest podcast when it comes to college football. You just got to back up your stuff. You got to be careful what you say. Okay, so today we're just going to be just kind of wrapping up some loose ends with the Disney Treasure sailing, stuff we missed on Wednesday, and taking questions. But so if you have questions in the chat, drop them in if you are headed there. Let's see, Lil Sweets 9 over on Instagram is asking, how do they keep the kids out of Sarabi after hours? That is one that is also true of the Wish because of the physical construction of this class of ship, which is why I said on Wednesday's show, I prefer the Tube and Evolution on the Dream and the Fantasy, and also kind of how it's structured on the Magic and the Wonder. Scott, you were on the Wish too. I mean, do you feel the same way with kind of how, because again, the adult area on the Wish and the Treasure is forward, where on the other ships it's aft and low. What are your thoughts in general on the adult?
This was not thought out well. I'm just going to say that right now, how they laid this out. And it's one of my biggest pet peeves of the Wish, and will be on the Treasure as well. Because it's very easy for someone under 18 to come into that club. Like right across the hallway is like another like trivia, like hosting
it's called
games
Triton's
area
Lounge.
where a lot of teenagers and younger children hang out, and they like to bounce back and forth between the two, and it's just a small space for both venues to begin with. But I remember watching a Match Your Mate on the Wish, and so many times the host had to stop the show and interrupt and like say, hey, anyone under 18 has to leave. And like I hated that, to be honest. Like I did not like that interruption, and I'm sure the same thing's going to happen on the Treasure here too. Like basically the cast members have to kind of monitor it, and if they see someone that they think is underage, they kind of have to politely ask them to leave, and they kind of pause the show, which is unfortunate.
I wonder, because if it remind me, it's kind of like open air a little bit,
It
right?
is open air.
Yeah,
you
because
can walk
in the
right-
second
yeah.
level it is.
Yeah,
Like I
second
remember
level,
we
you-
hung
yeah,
out in some
yeah.
booths that you can
Yep.
I could like give a high five to someone walking by.
Yeah,
basically.
100%.
So,
yeah,
like-
definitely
yeah,
get
the upper
in.
level is.
I wonder if in the future, obviously not now, but like maybe they work to enclose. I know it defeats kind of the purpose in a weird way, but like at least enclose it and make it a little more private. That would I feel like that would fix some of the problem with Luna and obviously Sarabi, and I'm sure whatever is going to be on the Destiny is going to be exactly the same too. So like we don't know what that one is at this point, but I feel like if they enclosed it a little bit, it would make it more private and not as big of a problem. I agree. It's super awkward where it is on the ship and the fact that it is to open air, and it's just I don't love that part. I don't love that it's 2 levels either. Like I feel like if you're up on the second level, like you're not really interacting. Like I don't know what the point is of being up there. So I'm with you guys. I don't love what they've done with that adult space on this class of ship on the Triton. I think that it was poorly done as well.
I think what they did was they constructed it to be like a mini Walt Disney Theater, right? So they could do smaller productions in there. And it is like if you don't want to have an interactive space, it is nice, right? If you just want to sit back and watch the show, even from the second level, it is great, right? But for example, like there was a match your mate, speaking of, on our cruise. And they again, it was really hard to find like married couples on our cruise.
Yeah,
right?
on that ship. Yeah,
it was just travel agents and radio. They had radio folks, right? And so, but there were some married couples because like you could bring a guest, and some people brought their significant others. And so one of the young, like the most recently married couple was 2 years. That tells you something. Like, cause usually it's like 2 days on a typical cruise, or like we got married yesterday or something. So they were 2 years, and they were sitting in front of us, and we were up on the top deck, on the upper level. And so they had to go all the way out and go down and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so again, it's not ideal. So again, for interactive shows, it's not well. And that's kind of piggybacking on that is one of my pet peeves is that the fan, and again, this is not gonna be a negative show, but this is just one of those things that I think and these ships have a lot of pluses over the other ships, a lot. But you're gonna see this is that the Triton Lounge, and I think I forget what it's called on the Wish, but that space is so small compared to the D Lounge right off the main lobby on the Fantasy and the Dream.
Yeah,
that is such a perfect space on those ships. And this space is so small. When you have something popular,
I mean, you might not have felt it on this cruise, maybe because of the media.
Yeah.
No, summertime Wish. I mean, people were laying down on the ground. Like you had no place to sit. Like in that space, and that is just a fire code issue if you ask me in the first place. But like why did they make that space so small where they know so many people are going to be drawn to karaoke and bigger things like that? It just it boggles my mind a little bit on the design of that a little bit. I mean,
like you said, Ricky, whenever we were on the Dream, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like Ricky, whenever we were on the Dream or on the Magic together, the adult area over there, it was in its own room, and you walked by it, but it was closed off.
It was closed off, yeah.
And maybe if they did something like that, but on this one, whenever you're walking by, Sarabi, it's open air. Yeah, you'd have to actually walk into it to interact with it, but
you can still hear everything. Yeah,
still hear everything. Yeah, so maybe if they did, like you said, if they did close off, the wall part of it, then I think that might be a little bit more exclusive to the adults.
Yeah. I think that would be a really a great idea moving forward. And when I wish they'd do it on the the Destiny. They won't. But I hope that maybe when they do a dry dock of these ships in the future, that's something that they look into, because it's got to be a common complaint that happens on these ships, I'm sure. So.
Yeah. There were hardly any kids on our cruise too, by the way. I mean,
right, of course, yeah.
Of course, this cruise, like, I'm not with my family, so we got to Castaway Cay, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to Serenity Bay, right? But that was like you had to think, like, no, you want to stay at the family beach today, because like everybody was at Serenity Bay. Like it was like you had to reverse engineer it. So I just went right back to the family beach and found a hammock, and I'm like, this is Serenity Bay today, because nobody has kids. Anyway, so question from Holly Cox. We kind of talked about this on Wednesday's show. She's asking, how was the food in the Coco restaurant? Looks so fun. Again, to me, best restaurant, any ship in the Disney Cruise Line fleet. Great entertainment. Awesome awesome atmosphere and very like Tex-Mex menu. I mean, just very just. It's not fancy. It's just good Tex-Mex food, I thought. I mean, Ben, I don't think anything was fancy in that restaurant. It was just really good kind of Tex-Mex to me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. From the empanadas to the enchiladas, the Mexican, the everything.
I'm hungry now. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, yeah.
Especially, and Mike, you didn't mention it again, but, as soon as you sit down, they're bringing out chips and salsa. So, I mean, that right there just says everything.
Yes.
What other stuff can I do? I mean, I don't know what else I have on the board.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Boom.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
I got everything going. Scott, what you got?
So I had a question related to the food that I'm curious if I know you guys didn't go here, but I'm curious, and I have a feeling I know the answer, but I just want everyone to know, like, is the Palo and like the adult dining like the same setup as it is on the Wish? Like, did you guys go up there at all? Did you see the decor? Did you see the bar at all? I'm assuming it's very similar to how the Wish is decorated.
It is. It's they have a Shantae and they have the rose that takes you in. If you know what I'm saying, you know what it is. Like so the rose is basically the kind of the bar. It's the equivalent of the Meridian on the Dream and the Fantasy. So it's kind of like your pre-show bar where you can kind of get a drink before dinner for both the private adult restaurants, Palo and Ashante, but they're on the Treasure. I saw the entrances. I didn't go tour them, but
were they even open? Were they even offering those meals?
But see, I didn't even know that. But all these other like people that were smarter than me are like, "Hey, dude, we're going to Palo." I'm like, "What?" I didn't even know it was an option because like when we did our online check-in, you couldn't book them, but you could when you got on the ship.
You had to go on the ship.
But I know you wanted. But the thing is, that the 3-nighter, the 3 restaurants, you want to try those for
100%. I mean, I'd rather be in the main dining.
But
room.
I would have done like a second dinner and gone to Palo. I would have 2 dinners.
Scott's thinking the right way.
Oh, that's true. You could have done that. But see, I like. But we haven't talked about this either. Festival of Foods is on this class of ship, which that's one of this is one of the definite pluses and minuses of this class of ship, and I'll tell you why. Festival of Foods is kind of like this mini food court that's up on the pool deck. It's the equivalent of like Flo's V8 Cafe, drive-in cafe that's on the Dream and the Fantasy, towards the back of the pool deck. But I think this is superior on this class of ship with the Wish and the Treasure because it has Donald's Cantina where you can get, here comes the train, at Ricky's house.
That would be me.
It's crazy. You have a train that just goes by like that.
I sure do.
I'm just looking around. Anyway, ambiance. So at Donald's Cantina, you can get soft tacos, you can get burritos, you can get bowls, rocks. You also can go to the rib station and get like pulled pork sandwiches, ribs, all that kind of barbecue stuff. There's a burger station that has burgers and fries, and I got a great bratwurst with sauerkraut one night. Sorry, Ben.
Yikes! I'm glad I wasn't in that room. Woo!
I got it way late at night. And then but here's where I say it's not the best. They have an the ice cream cone station, but it's not self-serve, so you don't get to try out your skills. They give you as many ice cream cones as you want, but I kind of like to work my magic,
it's nice. And I think I heard you say this on one of your live Instagram feeds too. Is like the hours of those are just bonkers.
That was what I was going to say. They close. They should be open till midnight, all the windows, and they close
really
like
need to be open later
or 11. They're not open till midnight.
And I'm not trying to be a negative guy. I'm just trying to bring the other like devil's advocate on some of these.
I think only the pizza windows open until midnight. I think the other ones all close up early. Except the ice cream stays open. The ice cream stays open till midnight.
Okay. All right, that's good.
But I mean, get a good bratwurst at 11.
No.
Well, sauerkraut.
Especially if you do like early dining, like
you want a snack.
Cruising is an eating vacation. I feel like I'll never forget the classic Disney Cruise Line director Jimmy. He was on the Dream for years. He still might be, and he always says, "If you see it, eat it."
Yes.
Which I fully believe when you're on a ship. And just to have like food options close early, like is just bonkers to me. But you still got the room service, so you can still order the room service.
Yes, and that is the trick. You go to the room service and get whatever you want. 24-hour room service for free. You just got to tip. A little sweet to say, one of my favorite things to do on the other ships is to grab an afternoon coffee and a little pastry from the coffee shop. So you can get that at the Cove Cafe. It's on the back of the deck. 13 back there. But I hear the Wish doesn't offer them. Is that the same on the Treasure? Yes, I did go in there and look for the little pastries because like on the Fantasy this summer, they have like a whole case of free little pastries and stuff you can grab even if you don't buy coffee. Yeah, the Wish does not have that, and neither does the Treasure. There's no pastries in their Cove Cafe. So that is,
Interesting.
but here, because I think I was telling Ben or I was telling Chris or somebody about this. I was hankering for a sweet, like in the afternoon, I think Friday afternoon, it's so terrible. Like, you're eating all the time. Why was I needing this? I didn't need it, but I was hankering for something sweet besides an ice cream cone. I mean, first world problems, right? And I was thinking, God, where could I just get like a cookie or something? But like, it was like 2:30 and Marceline Market closed at 2. So nothing, like no restaurants were open at this time,
which is a problem.
I know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is not really a problem, dude. People are like the world's smallest violin on mic right now, but I'm like, dude, I need like a cookie, and I could have gone
because
in
your
room service.
schedule could be so different than someone else's, where they like this is
True.
when they're waking up for the day, like
True.
because they
Well,
partied hard last night. They need to eat
Maybe,
something.
yeah, that's true. It could have been. But, I mean, I've been up since like 6. But okay, so I'm just like, I need a cookie, right? And here's the only really option. You could have gone to Jambo Sweets, which is the like.
Yeah.
It's like the vanilla peas,
yeah.
I think on the Dream. They all have different.
You got to
names
pay
now.
for it. Yeah.
You got to pay, and it's not much. It's like $3.
No,
you know?
it's
You
very
get like a
minimal,
little thing
yeah.
of macaroons. I mean, and they got hard ice cream. They got gelato. I mean, it's amazing in there. They got so many great things, cake pops and Rice Krispie treats and sugar cookies. It's like being at the confectionery on Main Street USA right there in your ship. So you can go there, and that's open all the time.
I will just as a heads up, because I'm very famous for bringing home snacks in my purse. You cannot bring home a snack from the cruise ship with you. So just if you do buy something from one of those sweet shops, you just know you got to eat it on the ship. You can't bring it home. So
well, they
keep that in
did
mind.
sell like a pre-package of macaroons on that.
Yeah, if it's
thing.
prepackaged, obviously, I think you can bring that.
Yeah.
But like, I wanted to bring home like a cupcake, and they were like, "No, you got to eat it on the ship." So that was won't for me.
No, they have macaroons. that you
Again,
can.
first world problem. I got to eat my cupcake on the ship. But yeah. So just
Okay, so what other questions we have here? Well, go ahead, Ben.
So was there a pirate night? I saw you dressed up as a pirate, right?
Yeah, there was.
So did they do like a special dining, like like on some like cabanas will sometimes have like a special like pirate night kind of like hour window? Did they do anything like that where they had a special like menu or anything?
So they didn't give us the pirate menu because they wanted to give us because it was the Cocoa night, right? And they had us all like in the same menu because it wasn't selling at capacity. So we all dined in the same restaurant the same night. So it was the Cocoa night. So none of us wanted the pirate menu because we wanted to have the Cocoa menu because that's why we were there.
Right.
So but we did have pirate night, and like on the Wish, dude, they played the fireworks with a live band.
Oh yes,
Dude, I know,
That's cool.
I know, dude. That is so cool. I geek out over that. That was awesome because they had that same show on the Wish with the band, which is
so
awesome.
good.
Yeah,
that was one of my highlights of the
yeah,
Wish. Honestly,
that's awesome, dude. That band rocks. They earn their money. They're playing like nobody's business. So that's pretty cool. So what else we missed? It's shopping. You want to talk about that, Ben? I mean, the shops. We have Mickey's Main Sale, some other places.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do want to touch base real quick on the Cove. If you did want to go up there and get a cappuccino or a latte, anything like that that has the the milk foam on, or the foam on top of it, you can get any of the the laser engraved things on top of it. And I even asked, I said, which ones do y'all have? And he went through all of them. So they've got a ton of them. They've got all the different ship names. They've got all the main characters and then some. So if you want something like that, it doesn't cost anything extra. You can go, or the coffee does, but as far as like, getting the thing on the top of it, that doesn't cost anything extra. And it's just something, just to kind of spruce up the coffee itself. And
That's
they do
cool.
have a good many cigars up there as well. So if that's something that you like, and there's only certain spots that you can smoke a cigar on, on the upper decks, but they do have a good selection of that.
They sell cigars up there? I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Of course, Ben found that out. So
Right.
yeah.
You should have been smoking a cigar, dude.
you gotta have a cigar and bourbon.
Oh my
thing.
God!
Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
You should have. That'd have been so baller if I'd have walked in. You were smoking a cigar and having like an old fashioned. Dude, you should have totally done. In
You
your
can't smoke
haunted
it
mansion
inside.
jacket. Oh,
No.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did they-
but-
I know on the other ships, the coffee bars, they have the coffee card where if you get it stamped, you can get a free coffee. Did you check to see if they have that on this one still?
I did not.
That's
No,
okay.
And they didn't have anything that they were advertising it.
Yeah, I think sometimes you got to ask for it.
Well,
too.
here's the thing. Like, they didn't also like give any discounts for like being platinum or anything either. So I don't think they were offering any of those kind of discounts at all during this cruise. So
I'm sure.
they probably
Yeah,
are
'cause
doing that, but they weren't giving you any discounts for anything.
Yeah,
during
of
this.
course.
So,
And understandably so. Yeah.
So I'm sure that is probably an option, but they were not giving any kind of thing like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I understand. Yes.
Were they doing any like drink tastings? I know in media cruise is kind of weird, but I'm assuming
No.
you're gonna have the similar offerings that you see on the Wish though for those like tequila classes and martinis and things like that. Yeah,
I'm sure they're gonna have plenty of those. But
could you imagine doing one of those in like the Haunted Mansion lounge or something?
Dude,
like that
oh
would,
my God.
Because so the Haunted Mansion is in the space that's a Star Wars bar on the Wish. And I don't know that they use that for tastings on the Wish.
Don't. I think it's because of the 45-minute limit,
Yeah,
but like
'cause it's too
the
popular.
Periscope Pub would probably do like a beer tasting or
Yes.
something, and that would just be like really cool. I think to do one of those.
Yes. I was talking about. I just don't think they wanted us to get too sloshed because it's on a 3-night sailing, and we're trying to. Because everybody in there is posting everything to social media immediately that we're doing. I mean, everybody was constantly like making reels, so they probably didn't want us doing tequila tastings. It would
Probably not.
Not probably
Good call.
turned out
Good
well.
call.
They did give us 2 free drinks. I mean, they want us a little like happy, but not too happy, is what I was thinking. That was the only thing I could think. So, shopping, Mickey. We had Mickey's Main Sale. I think that's the name of the store on the Wish too, as I recall. It's basic general merchandise, but they have lots of great stuff. And they said that the inaugural stuff is going to be for the entire first year. So if you want anything that says inaugural, you can get it for the entire first year of sailing. There's a lot of it.
Awesome.
It's kind of
Sounds like I need to book a cruise, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Have to ships. I want to. Yeah, it's kind of turquoisey is kind of their theme.
I know you want to go to the shopping, but I have an observation. Like,
Go ahead. Yeah, that's why we're here.
Your voice and the way you talk about this ship, you love it. I can just tell. Like, I can hear it on your I can hear it on your Instagrams, and I know how you feel about the Wish. Like, so is it really like the bringing in the Haunted Mansion, like some of the theme park stuff, like really like did a like 180 on you? It almost seems like
the Wish made me mad with the track. And I'll be honest, because ships are for different folks, right? And I mean, 90% of the people could care less about the Deck 4 track. And I'll be honest, I don't even run outside most of the time. Like when we went on the Fantasy, I didn't run on the track. I don't even know why it's even bothering me anymore because I'm a treadmill guy. I ran in Senses every day on the Treasure, and the Senses is great treadmills. I mean, they're brand new. Obviously, the ship's brand new. Everything I did, I was like, I was probably one of the first people to do this. I know there's been like 5 or 6 sailings and they crossed with it, but I was like, I'm probably the first.
I felt that way about the cabin.
Yeah,
we stayed.
exactly.
Like, we're one of the first like few families.
I was probably like, I'm probably in the first 100 miles on this treadmill. It'll probably have 10,000 miles on it at some point, but I'm probably in the first 100 or whatever. Yeah, I'm a geek, like I'm an idiot. But I was like one of those things, and it doesn't even bother me anymore. But I do like after dinner to be able to walk around on the track, to do a lap or two, like because my wife and I did that, this summer, like because of 7-night cruise, we had 3 sea days. So in the afternoon, like if we didn't have anything scheduled, if we had like an hour till trivia, we'd walk 3 or 4 laps just to, because you are eating a lot and you're eating rich foods. So sometimes it just helps settle your stomach to walk around and kind of just see the ocean and feel the breeze. But it is kind of a challenge on that ship. A lot of times I just go up to deck 11, which wasn't ideal, and kind of walk around there. But you got to walk like kind of that back end, like by the Marceline Market and by Jambo's Treats and the little back store. They sell cool shirts. Well, let's talk about the shopping. So Ben, you went into that back store and you talk shopping in general. I hate shopping. So go ahead.
You're fine. So that one was the Forget Me Nots.
Yes.
And I liked it. That's going to be where you're going to get all your swimsuits if you forgot it, your suntan lotion, things like that. Your sun shirts, anything like that. But the one thing that I really liked about there, they did have a couple inaugural things up there, hats, shirts. But the one things that I really liked were the t-shirts, because everybody's not into the quarter zip polos or anything else. But the reason that I liked the t-shirts is because a lot of them were themed. So of course I've got the Haunted Mansion one and the Skipper Society one, and that's what I really really.
That's cool. I like that they have like the theme bars and stuff like that as shirts. That's really awesome.
That's dangerous
really like
for me.
That is very dangerous. Oh, I 100% agree that that's very dangerous. Yeah.
It was dangerous for me because I kept bringing, I'm showing the kids, giving them their gifts. I'm like, all right, that shirt's for me. That shirt's for me.
Yeah.
That shirt's for me. And,
Merry Christmas to Ben.
Yes.
Kristen even asked me, she's like, can I just take some of those and, wrap them for you real quick?
Yeah, exactly. Can I borrow those for a minute? It's fine. You'll get them back. It's just, I just need to keep them for a minute. It's fine.
But then they did have another shop that was downstairs that had, the Dooney and Burke purses and things like that. And of course, it had more of the inaugural, sailing, shirts and hats. But then it also had like the Haunted Mansion clock that you could get. It had, a bunch of the Skipper Society things that you could buy as well. Now those, I think the clock itself was, $80, so it's not cheap, but at the same time, if you want that part of, the theme park nostalgia to bring home with you, it's a great thing to do.
Ben, did you find like a lot of jewelry stores too? Kind of like,
Oh yeah,
yeah, because like that's
Tiffany and
the Wish had so much jewelry outside the bayou, and I'm like,
Same
and I know a
thing.
lot of people like to shop for jewelry while they're on a cruise. I totally get that, but like, it almost felt like it was like triple the amount of jewelry stores than there were like the shirt,
Right.
the clothing stores, which always kind of bugged me a little bit.
yeah, and of course, with this one being the preview sailing, everybody was in the actual shops, Mickey's main sale and everything else buying that merchandise.
yeah,
I only saw maybe 2 people in the jewelry shops.
Yeah,
yeah.
That was mainly at the time that they were giving out the free charms, like they
Of
do
course.
every day.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was it.
I don't want to say that's wasted space, but sometimes it feels like wasted space. All
I
those
get
jewelry
that.
stores.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Especially
I
on
know.
this class of ship. I feel
I
like
think
there's
that
way
they
too
would
much
have
of
a
it.
better, return on investment and revenue wise if they put more Disney
shops.
Disney shops there instead of the, they could take all of those and combine it into one.
But you know that they're getting a licensing fee from those companies that are like, Tiffany's paying an arm and a leg to have their name on the
Yeah.
Disney ship. So, I mean,
Tag, all
Disney's
that.
getting the money
Oh.
anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But
Or maybe like another Adventureland bar somewhere over
yeah,
there.
yeah. I think
Would be nice.
the thing that you were Scott, you kind of mentioned to Mike about how you heard his enthusiasm over for the ship, and I think one thing that I've kind of realized about the difference between this ship as well as I feel like the classic ships, with the magic, the wonder, the dream, and the fantasy, and the difference between the Wish is in a weird way, it feels like the Wish isn't done. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's halfway. Like they just kind of did stuff, but it didn't take it to the next level. Whereas I feel like with this ship, there are areas on the Wish where I feel like they did. Obviously, like the Star Wars, bar, and like I do feel like Tiana's is definitely very well themed, and there are areas that are very well themed. But then I feel like they just kind of like were like, okay, that's good enough. Whereas I feel like with all the other ships, like they made them feel so opulent and they encompassed everything, and it feels like they just really went over the top with all the other ships. And I think that that's kind of what I'm noticing about the difference between the Wish, and I feel unfortunately is going to be the same way with the Destiny, is that and hopefully they change that, because the concept art I've seen for the Destiny doesn't wow me. But everything I've seen about the treasure, it really wows me. And I don't necessarily think that has to do with the fact that there's a lot of things themed to the theme parks, which of course does help. But I feel like they've just really taken things and they've just made it to the next level. And I don't know if that's something that you guys felt when you were on this ship, especially Mike comparing it to the Wish, but like that's kind of what I'm noticing is that they just took it to the next level a little bit. They just oomphed it a little.
So the way I just gotta say this, 'cause I have a lot of folks that are going to be sailing the Wish, and I don't want you to think you're not gonna have a great time.
No,
on the Wish, 'cause
no,
the Wish
definitely
is
not.
a
Yeah.
great ship, and I just want to make that clear. The Wish is the same layout, and it's got the Star Wars bar. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're gonna geek
Oh,
out
it's
in there. It's
100%
amazing.
geek out. Yeah.
I mean, it's a great ship. It's got the hero zone. It's got all, you're going to have an amazing time. So I'm not anyway saying that, but the facts are and I had this conversation with somebody, I don't think it was Ben, but it was somebody. The facts are the Wish was made during COVID. And
True.
the treasure was not. The treasure
True.
was made after the Wish. And the Wish is Gen 1 of a new class of ship. The treasure was made as the second ship in the class.
True.
And of course, they have got to hear feedback after a year of sailings with the Wish. And they got to hear what people liked and what people Now, of course, they have the structure. The structure could not change because they ordered the ships
Right.
at the same time. But as far as thematic elements and, what goes into those rooms in those spaces, those are more malleable. You know what I'm saying? The Imagineers can go different ways with how they're going to, enrich experiences and how they're going to use said square feet in each venue. And I think they heard that, how they're going to program the ship. And I think, and again, I think with the treasure, they're preaching to the choir with the Be Our Guest podcast audience, right? We are hardcore. Because like you tell somebody about the Adventurers Club, they look, somebody off the street, they know who that is, or the Jungle Cruise. Most people don't even know the Jungle Cruise. If you tell them, Skipper Dan or anything like that, they don't know that reference. But you talk to somebody that's, the treasure, like that's their people. You know what I'm saying? Like in the Haunted Mansion, if you talk about a Doom Buggy, somebody off the street doesn't know what a Doom Buggy is, but dude, every person in that Haunted Mansion lounge is geeking out over that, man. I mean, the Chilling Challenge, like let's go. But I mean, nobody knows what a Chilling Challenge is on the street, most people. I mean, but it's made for us, the collective us listening to this show. This is the theme park ship, which is, and the fantasy, or sorry, the Wish is just a beautiful, beautiful ship that's going to appeal. It's got more of a broad appeal. It's very opulent. I'm not saying this to be like stereotypical, but it's more of like a princessy ship to me.
Absolutely. It's a very princessy ship.
I honestly kind of like the theme better of the Wish. Which is what I was trying to get to eventually, is that the Wish actually draws more to me than the treasure almost, because I like the bright colors and all that, and I love like the theme of the lounges. So it's weird. Like I want to do the treasure too, but I'm excited to compare the two. But like I that's what's beautiful about Disney Cruise Line. It's got a theme for everybody.
It does,
right? You know what I mean? Like,
to me, it feels
good.
like kind of in a way like the Wish kind of feels Fantasyland a little bit to me, where the treasure's a little bit Adventureland at sea. Kind of, kind of a loose comparison there.
I know, I see that. Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, they're great. And it's just different experiences. I mean, you're still going to go amazing places and have amazing times. I mean, it's like one's not better than the other. They're just different. I mean, and you're going to do basically the same thing on both ships. You're just going to go different places. But again, if you know me, I mean, you guys, you have been listening to my show. Like when I went to Disneyland's the greatest thing on earth. The last thing I do is like the last hotel I stayed at's the best hotel ever. I mean, I do this every time. This is just. I get excited, and that's why I love Disney. I mean, I just get excited for everything I do. But the treasure is amazing. I mean, they really have listened. I get excited when Disney listens, and I think they apply feedback, and I think they really did this on this ship. So what else? Because we have a couple more minutes. Anything else like to talk about?
Did you order any food like at the Periscope Pub or any like the additional? Like, because I know how you can order like cheese curds, or you can do something like
they have like pretzels. I did, and they have wings, pretzels.
Did you see anyone ordering stuff? Or
I saw the wings. I saw a couple of people order them, and they looked really good. But it was one of those that Mike and I were in there 10, 15 minutes before we had to go to dinner. And,
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? Ben went to Hook's Barbary. We kind of hung out there and then looked at it for a bit. What did you think of Hook's Barbary?
Hook's Barbary was good. I liked it. I liked the concept of it, especially if you want to go in and get, a haircut, get a beard trim, something like that, and sip on,
See? I was trying to explain, Scott, I was trying to explain to Ben immediately, like, about how that worked. I probably butchered it. I was like, but you get like a coin or something. I was like, because we were all doing that on the Wish.
He gave me a really good description of it. And they did have, a couple in there with the challenge coins, but of course, with it being the second sailing that they were doing, they didn't have many of them in yet. They got the list of them, and I'll send it to you, Scott, so of the different ones, but they didn't have those challenge coins in just yet. But at the same time, if you're not into getting the challenge coins, they did have a really, really good selection of bourbon and whiskeys and things like that. If you wanted to go in and sip it neat, or on the rocks, or smoke old fashions, or whatever the case is, they really, really had a good setup. Now the only downside of it is they've only got like 2 chairs on either side, so it's not a big venue. But if you wanted to go in there and get you a drink before or after or during your haircut, it's a great place to go to.
And for folks that don't know,
like when we sailed the Wish, I feel like it was still kind of like a secret. You know what I mean? Like that there's like a bourbon bar inside this barbershop, which is like the coolest
That's
thing.
what I was telling him. That's what I was gonna say. For folks who don't know what we're talking about, which is probably 90% of the people right now, Hook's Barbery, and okay, I know you got to wrap your head around this, is basically a barber shop that's in the middle of deck 5, I think, on the starboard side. It's just in a random spot. Like it's really strange. And it's
Just like what the D lounge should be almost.
Right.
Like in that
Right.
area.
if you just come across this place, and basically what it is, it's like a 2-seater barber shop. But in the front right of this barber shop, it's like a bourbon stand. Like there's like all these bourbons, and like Ben said, like 2 seats in front of it, and like there's 2 seats off to the other side, and high end, I guess, bourbons, and like you can do like these smoked old fashions, and like they do all kinds of fancy stuff in there. But I mean, it's really I don't understand.
And now it gets crowded because like it's
because everybody knows about it now. Yeah,
well, like when we did our podcast cruise, man, we had like 12, 15 people in that place. We were packed.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm surprised. And one of our listeners, I think Matt at the time, was getting a beard trim, and we didn't even know it at the time, or a haircut or something.
Like, who's under that towel? Who's under that towel? And of course, they have the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique on these ships, like they do the other ships. But they also have the Tangled salon, which is for the princesses that are older than can legally go into the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique anymore. So for the women that wish they were little girls, but they want to get their hair done still. So the ladies. And I guess anybody can go in there. I don't know. There were a lot of women getting their hair done in the Tangled salon. It seemed to be very popular.
So, Ben, I can't remember this. So I know you said you spent some spa time. Was part of that the rainforest room? Did you check out the rainforest room? I can't remember you mentioned that on Wednesday.
Yeah, I spent all of my time was in the rainforest room.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because my wife.
Did you do the rainforest room on another ship at all, like on the Dream?
On the Dream and the Magic as well.
Oh, so you are Mr. Spa, Mr. Rainforest.
Yes,
room.
yes.
How would you rank this rainforest room then compared to the other two? And knowing that they're all great, right? We're not bashing any of them. We know they're all.
Yeah, they're all great. All of them have the the hot tubs outside. So they're all the same on that aspect of it. The Magic, I like where you get the different the different rainforest or the different rain showers side by side, but they've got the sound effects that go along with it. So you've got the the tropical thunderstorm and everything else, and it has the scents to go with it. These on the Treasure did not, but it did have the different pressures. On the Dream or on the Magic, it is a little bit darker on the inside in the rainforest room, whereas this one had a lot of natural light. And then it had the steam room, and then it had the dry sauna, and then it had the cold room or the frigid aquarium as well. So that was really, really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, just kind of wrapping this up, because we're getting, towards the end of the show here, that, if you have sailed the other ships, this is going to be a new experience for you. And I think that if you're somebody who obviously listens to our podcast, this is the next step. I mean, this is somebody that has gone to Walt Disney World, that is a fan of Disneyland, that knows the lore of the Jungle Cruise, that maybe back in the day spent time at Pleasure Island, went into the Adventurers Club and, kungalooshed, with the crew. And I mean, if you did that at some point of your life, and as soon as you cross the threshold into the Treasure, you're gonna be like, man, I'm home, like immediately. Because seriously, in the grand lobby of this one, the chandelier is you got the Jasmine and Aladdin. They're the statue in the lobby. You got the genie's lamp sitting there, and it's lush. There's ferns. It's the oranges, the browns. It's got such a different feel to it. It really does. But again, you're going to be hearing background loops from the Jungle Cruise area here and there, and it comes to like characters everywhere, just like the other ships. You just come upon them. But
Mike, that excited me. Not to interrupt, that excited me so much on your live. I said, like, I feel like I'm in the Jungle Cruise queue right now.
Yes,
like it was just like so cool. You're just walking around the ship, and I could just hear it. I'm like, oh my God, this is spectacular.
And that's what makes me super excited is they're not kind of scared to cross those streams of like that's theme park and this is cruise line, right? And I think in some point of like Disney, like they would say, oh, we got to keep that as far as theme parks, and this is cruise line, and never should the two ever mix. Not now. Like, you get tons of nods.
If I'm walking down like a hallway on deck 7, I hear Skipper AWOL talking like that, I'm just gonna lose it.
Yeah. And I mean, we were only on it for 3 nights. Like, it was very rushed and a very kind of abbreviated experience. when you have 7 days and like 3 sea days on an Eastern Caribbean sailing, the programming is going to be outrageous. You know, they got to find ways to do more and more and more with these kind of experiences, these venues. And, you know, I'm booking one. I mean, we're going to the Eastern Caribbean on this ship for sure.
I need to, but my family, like you worked my family really well on this, Mike, with our last cruise being Royal Caribbean, which we really enjoyed a lot. Like we want to sail that again sometime too. But they're like, man, we need to get back on a Disney ship. Like, so we
need to do this one together because we need to do it Eastern on the Treasure. We'd have a blast. It just sparked
me so much just seeing like all the great the lounges, the venues, the dining restaurants. I was like, man, like Disney just knows how to, you know, present a cruise ship. I mean, they just do such a good job, and I can't wait to get sailing away on it.
I'm so right. Yeah, this was lethal because I saw it and I was like, oh, I love
this.
It's
dangerous. I know because those 7 night sailings are not the cheapest.
No,
yeah, I mean, it's like Disney, right? I mean, it's like Run Disney. I thought, you know, 100%. Like I said, I'm going to take up running because it's a cheap sport. Oh my, I don't even think about what I spent on running in my life in the last 15 years.
Like,
I said it was
I do annual passes. No,
yeah,
let's just do a cruise.
Yeah, 100%, exactly. Yeah, choose wisely, as they say in the shows on the Disney Treasure. Choose wisely. That's what you got to do. All right, we're gonna get out of here and let you get finished up with your Christmas shopping because it's time, crunch time, and it's getting there. So thanks for hanging with us here with the little Disney Treasure talk over the past couple of days. We'll be back to Walt Disney World Sunday night. We'll be back together though, live call-in show. So if you have any questions after hearing these 2 shows, Scott and I will be together. Scott is a Disney cruise expert as well, so we'll be talking about that. Join us at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We'll try to match his numbers that he had last Sunday night over for his live. I'm jealous. I was stuck on an airplane. Couldn't even watch because internet was all sketchy.
It's all
on my
good,
plane.
Mike. You know, I know it's part of everyone's routine now,
yeah,
right?
Well,
like,
I
know you're a man
it.
of routine, so I was like, I gotta do something, right?
I was like, dude, you're doing it with the Lions playing the Bills. I couldn't even get the game. The internet kept going in and out. It was a miserable flight.
It was madness,
delayed.
yeah.
There was a light or something. Made us like 45 minutes.
I thought you were like the terminal though. Like you spent like how many hours in there?
Dude, I felt like I was in the terminal. I met Cindy. I met Maria and her son. I mean, I was like a meet and greet at Orlando. I
swore I saw on his Instagram at like 9 o'clock he was there, and then it's like 2 o'clock. Like Mike, I follow you on Find My Friends. I'm like, Mike is still at the airport.
I swear I thought the MCO Twitter account was going to put me out as like, you know how they put those dogs that you can pet like at Terminal A. I thought they're going to put like meet Mike Rallman at the Christmas tree. He's going to be here for the next 7 hours.
I mean, you should have just parked next to the world, like the tiredest traveler, like our guy.
No, I should have just sat there like him because that looked like me. Dude, I had to pace myself because I was like, well, when do I wait to go get? Because Chick-fil-A wouldn't open. It was Sunday.
Chipotle. How many Chipotle
no, I didn't have
Doritos did you have?
No, I didn't have that because I had a lot of Mexican on the cruise, so I had to hold off because I knew I was having Taco Bell when I landed, of course. So I had because my Sunday nights always Taco Bell. I had Panda Express. I went orange chicken and honey walnut. Who cares? Nobody cares. Anyway, we are getting out of here. That's what we do. So don't forget, you want to book an awesome cruise on the Disney Cruise Line, you got to get on the Treasure. But all the ships are awesome. Come over to themagicforless.com, fill out that free no obligation quote form. We'll get you great onboard credit to have all kinds of fun with on us. Just don't use it for your gratuities. And we'll get you going. So check it out today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports us throughout the year, but especially here during the holiday season. Just click through beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys are our all-stars. Thank you so very much to our supporters. You can support us as well, just $5 a month. And for that support, you get a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest. Come over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on the social media. Here we go. Here's our handles. Be Our Guest Mike for me. Ep Scott for Scott. Also check him out at Must See Adventures on YouTube. Ricky is at Ricky Nibs, RIKKINIBS. Check her out at DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. And Ben, where can folks check you out one more time?
Ben Lappin, Lappin, Travel on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, so we're going to get out of here. We'll check in with you on Sunday night. The phone lines will be open. We need your calls. We're going to have a good time getting ready for Christmas and just talking Disney and life in general, just having a good time. It'll be it'll be like a live call-in show Christmas party for everybody that hangs out with us on Sunday night. So bring a Christmas hat, bring a Christmas story. Let's just have a good time and talk Sunday night. So until then, for Scott, Ricky, and Ben, I'm Mike, wishing you a great weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.